This Holden model was short-lived, 1 year only, yet it proved to be a groundbreaking and highly important addition to Holden's performance lineup. It filled the gap left by the SS4 back in 1963 and the arrival of the Monaro GTS. You see, back in the early 1970s, before the iconic Monaro GTS 4-door made its debut, what were your options if you wanted a V8 performance 4-door sedan from Holden? Well, let's take a look. Before we dive in, a quick shout out. This video's idea was sparked by a couple of recent comments which prompted me to take a closer look, revealing a truly classic model and a fascinating backstory. So thanks to Area 51, Israel 71 and R Sup. And here we go. Built on the HK platform, the striking Holden Monaro GTS, a 2-door pillarless coupe, first appeared in July 1968. Fast forward to the 15th of July 1971, Holden introduced the radically redesigned HQ platform, blending US and European trends to create a definitive Australian car with a distinctive ground-hugging look and enhanced structural strength, bringing with it an updated Monaro GTS. At the same time, the Monaro was carving a name for itself at the racetracks. It was a trailblazer that beat the odds at Bathurst, dethroned imported muscle cars in the ATCC and helped establish Holden as a serious force in Australian motorsport while building a reputation for itself as a top performance car. Then, on the 23rd of August 1972, Holden issued a press release number 72/15 which announced an exciting new and, funnily enough, 4-door performance sedan. This also coincided with their initial deliveries, as the first models had been finished around the 18th of August 1972. Traditionally, Holden sports models were 2-door coupes. However, enthusiasts were in for a big surprise on the 25th of August 1972 when, at the Sydney Motor Show, Holden debuted a 4-door V8 sports sedan, the Holden HQ SS, sold as the SS V8, with a national advertising campaign which started on the 1st of September 1972. The HQ SS was launched with the advertising tagline, a super sporty heart starter, conceived as a no-frills, low-volume, offering a design to provide performance enthusiasts with everything they could want and not much more. Holden strategically timed this official public release for August 1972 to coincide with the Sydney Motor Show that same month, which allowed them to generate maximum excitement and secure immediate orders right from the unveiling. With the HQ SS, or RPO code A8J, Holden took a bold leap into the performance car market with a 4-door sedan, marking the start of a new era in Australian automotive history. Holden's decision to design the HQ SS was driven by a keen understanding of the Australian automotive market at that time, aiming to fill the void left by the EHS4. Right from its inception, the SS was designed to be an affordable performance option. Ford Australia had already successfully ignited a strong demand for V8 performance and aggressive styling with its Falcon GT series like the XW and XY GTHOs, firmly establishing the muscle car segment and a clear desire for fast 4-doors. As Ford's main rival, Holden aimed to compete. However, existing high-performance options like Holden's own Monaro GTS and Ford's Falcon GTs were becoming increasingly more expensive, making them inaccessible to a significant portion of younger, performance-hungry buyers. To address this, Holden's marketing and design teams conceived the HQ SS as a budget muscle car. The SS was a true parts bin special, ingeniously assembled from existing components like Holden's own V8 engine, 4-speed manual gearbox, Monaro GTS dashboard and rally wheels. Added to that with distinctive styling, vibrant colours and bold decals, which offered the coveted Monaro look in a practical and affordable 4-door sedan. By building the SS on the entry-level Belmont sedan platform, Holden's strategy significantly reduced both research and development plus manufacturing costs. The HQ SS would offer Monaro styling and performance for Belmont money. This allowed Holden to offer it at a much lower price, directly appealing to a broader customer base, especially the younger buyers and enthusiasts who craved the V8 experience, its power, sound and image, without the premium price tag of more expensive models. The supercar scare of 1972, a media controversy surrounding dangerous road road-going race cars, dubbed bullets on wheels, prompted manufacturers to scale back on extreme track-focused specials. Although the HQ SS was released in mid-1972, it was this earlier event that reinforced Holden's push towards a more street-orientated performance model. As a mainstream sedan, not a race homologation special, the HQ SS would perfectly fit into this new street-orientated environment, still delivering the desirable muscle car style and feel without causing undue controversy, which ultimately led to its significant and unexpected success. While Joe Szymanski oversaw the broader HQ design with his team, including Leo Prannou refining it, it was Leo Prannou himself who crafted the SS. His design aimed to gauge public interest in a four-door V8 sports sedan, and far from being a gamble, the HQ SS proved to be a masterstroke, and the name, well, SS stands for Supersport, a badge that could trace its lineage back to General Motors in 1961. But strangely enough, the first use of the Supersport name was on a Corvette Supersport concept racing car in 1957, or Project XP64. One was built which competed in the 12 Hours of Sebring endurance race, but unfortunately didn't finish. However, the first actual production model offered with the SS or Supersport option package would be the 1961 Chevrolet Impala SS, introduced alongside the new 409 cubic inch or 6.7 litre V8 on the 17th of December 1960. Now let's take a look at the HQ SS. Under the hood, buyers received as standard the venerable L32 253 cubic inch or 4.2 litre V8, option code XW8, painted HK Rocket Red, paint code 10890. It used a 2-barrel WW Bendix Stromberg downdraft carburettor with a compression ratio of 9:1, producing 185 horsepower and exiting through twin exhausts to give you a 0 to 60 mph time of 11.1 seconds, a quarter mile time of 17.5 seconds, and a top speed of 140 mph. This engine would also go on to power the LX Tirana SS, a subject I discussed in my earlier video on the LX series. The power plant was paired with the well-known and robust M20 Aussie 4-speed manual transmission, running through a GV2 10-bolt Salisbury low ratio differential with a 336:1 ratio. Did you know Holden's 10-bolt Salisbury differential, while based on the American Salisbury 10-bolt design, was actually manufactured by Holden to their own design in Australia? This is why, despite their shared 10-bolt designation and General Motors lineage, the Australian-made Holden Salisbury differential has very few interchangeable parts with its US counterpart. This axle was manufactured by Holden at its Dandenong, Melbourne plant, debuting in 1971 alongside the HQ series. It was specifically introduced to accommodate the high power output of the HQ V8 engines, and subsequently used across the entire HQ range, including models like the Monaro, typically with different ratios, and the rugged HQ 1-tonner. The HQ SS featured an independent front suspension, utilising A and V wishbones with ball joints for greater articulation, an anti-roll bar and coil springs with direct-acting tubular telescopic shocks. At the rear, it featured a 4-link coiled suspension system. This setup included 2 upper and 2 lower trailing arms, a panhard rod to prevent sideways movement, an anti-roll bar and coil springs with telescopic shock absorbers. It also featured a unique front subframe extending to the centre pillar, which combined the advantages of a traditional frame car with a monocoque rear. This unique front subframe, combined with the all-new front independent suspension, marked a major leap forward for Holden. It significantly contributed to its reputation for a smooth boulevard-style ride, even though it also led to initial criticisms regarding its handling, particularly understeer. Riding on its distinctive 6JJ by 14-inch steel rally wheels with Holden badged hubcaps. These weren't locally sourced, but rather imported Pontiac rally wheels from GM Canada, which were shod with 195 SR14 radial tyres. Stopping was by its hydraulic power assisted braking system, comprising 11-inch ventilated disc brakes at the front and 10-inch drums at the rear. Another change saw the handbrake relocated to the outside of the driver's seat, moving away from the pull handle type previously positioned under the dashboard to the left of the steering column. As a budget model, the SS interior was Spartan but sporty and designed with performance in mind, featuring a GTS dashboard which added functionality with its tachometer and speedometer, plus split gauges for oil pressure, voltage, fuel and engine temperature. However, in true budget fashion, basic comforts like an interior light, cigarette lighter or clock were considered optional. Other sporty touches included an SS badged padded 3-spoke sport steering wheel from the GTS and a centre console, but there were no armrests on the doors. For comfort, the HQ SS featured reclining front bucket seats with adjustable headrests, upholstered in black roebuck vinyl and accented with black and white houndstooth inserts. Trim code 10C. The HQ SS was released in 3 vibrant colours and all were exclusive to this model. They were Infra-Red, a fiery reddish orange, code 15413, which oddly enough was also called Bluey, Ultraviolet, a purplish gunmetal, code 15338, sometimes known as Smoky, and there was a great sounding Let Us Alone, a pale green, code 15466. What made the HQSS truly stand out was its bold twin bonnet stripes, a kit that was supplied by 3M Australia. The SS emblems were proudly flown on both front fenders and the rear trunk panel above the driver's side turn indicators. Front fenders, directly inherited from the Monaro GTS, featured Holden's signature 3 horizontally aligned vents or gills, enhancing its sporty appearance. The SS also adopted a GTS style grille and highly favoured 7-inch round headlights in beveled mounts as used on the Monaro GDS. For contrast, it received blackout panels which covered the sills, front and rear valance panels, window frames plus boot panel. The SS blackouts were created by a low gloss black paint known as 60 units gloss or paint code 04149. The HQ SS also had a very respectable trunk capacity which underscored its dual nature. On one end, a thrilling V8 performance car that didn't abandon its roots, and on the other, a practical Australian family sedan. However, some did question the positioning of the spare wheel. The SS was assembled across 4 locations: Elizabeth, South Australia, Dandenong, Melbourne, Victoria, Pagewood, New South Wales and Acacia Ridge, Queensland. But how affordable? Well, the HQSS retailed for $3,295 Australian dollars plus on the road costs, a modest sum compared to the 253 manual HQ GTS Monaro, which started at $3,815 Australian dollars plus on the road costs, a fair difference. For those desiring additional comforts, factory options like an interior light, cigarette lighter, armrests and a clock were also available options. The SS quickly became a hit with both young and old power-hungry drivers seeking the thrill of a V8 HQ at an affordable price. Holden had initially planned a limited production run, or what would become known as Series 1, of around 1,500 units, which they hoped would generate a sense of urgency and exclusivity among buyers, but the demand for the SS far exceeded Holden's expectations. As a result, Holden commissioned a second batch, Series 2, in November 1972, made up of 1,300 units to meet the overwhelming demand that it had created. This brought the total HQSS production to 2,800 units, with 2,561 sold in 1972 and the remaining 239 sold in 1973. At one point, demand was so high that customers couldn't even be guaranteed their preferred colour. While largely identical to the first production run, the second batch, Series 2, featured minor variations in seat insert patterns. The distinctive houndstooth seat trim, a signature of the initial models, unfortunately ran out not long after production had begun on the second batch, or Series 2. Consequently, later examples of Series 2 were often fitted with a black roebuck vinyl interior and seats featuring flax rado or check seat inserts, trim code 10D. Aside from these trim variations, the Series 2 models were otherwise identical to the Series 1. The HQSS body identification plate can reveal key details about the vehicle's original factory specifications. You'll typically find this plate on the firewall in front of the passenger. However, it's important to remember that due to human errors and or production line speeds, some plates may contain stamping inaccuracies. Well, let's take a look at a typical HQ SS body identification plate. First, the model code. This is a combination of letters and numbers which identify the body model and the style. Seen here, HQ 80269, where HQ is the series of the vehicle and identifies it as the HQ series. 8 denotes the GM division as Holden. 02 specifies an 8-cylinder Belmont or SS, and 69 indicates it as a sedan body style. Body number or serial number. This is a unique sequential production number specific to the particular car's body shell. It's typically followed by a single letter indicating the assembly plant, and in this instance M for Melbourne or Dandenong. Trim code. This section provides details about the interior, starting with the interior colour, seen here as 1850 Infra-Red, which generally mimics the exterior colour. The subsequent code identifies the interior seat trims, seen here as 10D, which represents flax rado or check. Paint code, shown here as 568-15413, which specifies the exterior finish, where 568 indicates a solid non-metallic colour, and 15413 is a specific code for the exterior paint colour, on this model Infra-Red. Finally, the plate includes codes for the drivetrain components. M20 denotes the Aussie 4-speed manual, and GV2 specifies the Salisbury rear axle with a 336:1 ratio. While discussing the drivetrain, the engine can also be confirmed as a 253 cubic inch or 4.2 litre V8 by the specific code QR, typically located on the front edge of the block, often just beneath the alternator or near the front of the cylinder head. As Holden had now tested the water with a budget performance orientated 4-door sedan and proved there was a combination that worked and worked well, essentially a 4-door version of the beloved Monaro GTS, and would go on to pave the way for further 4-door performance models. The success of the SS prompted Holden to release a dedicated 4-door sports sedan, so in March 1973 the Monaro GTS, option code 80469, was released to join its 2-door sibling. While the 253 cubic inch or 4.2 litre V8 was standard, buyers could opt for the 308 cubic inch or 5 litre V8 or the mighty 350 cubic inch or 5.7 litre V8. However, in a move to distinguish the SS from the GTS, the styling was updated from its original double hood stripes to twin Shelby stripes, which ran over the hood and trunk but not the roof. Finally, I would like to mention that during my research into this car, I found a number of sources that suggested it had the options of a 308 cubic inch or 5 litre V8 plus the M40 Trimatic automatic. I did include these in the main video because I couldn't find definitive references to corroborate them. However, if anyone can shed light on this, I'd like to hear about it in the comments below. The Holden SS began life as a limited run special edition, but its immediate and overwhelming popularity quickly propelled it into the mainstream. Perfectly timed for the market, Holden's first performance 4-door sedan had struck a chord with many buyers. Conceived by Holden's marketing department as a clever parts bin special, the HQ SS set the stage for future 4-door performance models, but also solidified the SS brand as a lasting symbol of performance for decades. Styled by the legendary Leo Pranu with the iconic SS nameplate, which proved incredibly enduring, lasting 45 years, and in fact right up to the very end of Holden manufacturing. The HQ SS didn't just sell cars, it sold a dream, cementing Holden's position in the performance market and paving a way for a rich lineage of SS branded vehicles, from the Tirana SS hatchbacks of the late 1970s up to the beloved Commodore SS and SSV models that roared into the 21st century. The SS era, and indeed Holden's Australian manufacturing legacy, concluded with a red VF Series 2 Commodore SS V Redline, produced on the 20th of October 2017. This vehicle not only marked the very last SS model ever made, but also the very final Holden manufactured in Australia, a moment celebrated as a fitting farewell at the Elizabeth plant in southern Australia. Having rapidly sold out all 2,800 units in less than a year, the undeniable success of the HQ SS has transformed this car into a rare and cherished piece of Australian automotive history, increasingly coveted by enthusiasts and collectors alike. Today, the SS badge remains a symbol of Aussie muscle, and it all started with that daring 4-door sedan in the spring of 1972.